Hi guys, I'm back with another video, and the new fall anime season just started, and while we're all waiting for a few episodes to drop, I thought, why not give you some anime to binge in the meantime? So here are 6 amazing anime that'll keep you hooked and busy for the next few weeks. Then sit down, grab your snacks, and let's begin the video. On number 6, Kamonohashi's Forbidden Deductions is one of those detective anime that starts off looking like your typical crime-solving duo story, until you realize the main detective is completely unhinged and cursed. Yep, Ron, the so-called genius detective, was once the top student at the greatest detective academy, until things went a bit off the rails. Turns out his piercing detective eyes literally force culprits to end themselves when he exposes them. So yeah, the man got banned from solving crimes. Reasonable enters Detective Ishiki, also known as Toto, a sweet, brave, and slightly clueless police officer who basically becomes Ron's emotional support human. Together, they form the weirdest but most entertaining crime-solving duo ever. Ron is the brains, while Toto is the heart. So anime really nails its rhythm. Some cases are light and funny, others get dark fast, and every now and then you get these longer, high-stakes arcs that remind you, oh right, this show actually has plot depth, the pacing works. It throws you easy mysteries between the big ones, so it never drags or feels heavy. What really makes it fun is Ron himself, his deranged detective energy, his bizarre way of analyzing victims, and that mix of brilliance and madness that keeps you guessing whether he's helping or causing the next problem. If you like crime anime but also want something that doesn't take itself too seriously, Ron Kamonohashi's Forbidden Deductions is a great watch. On number 5. I Have a Crush at Work is exactly what it sounds like. A cozy, flirty, slow burn romance set in the most chaotic battlefield of all time. The workplace. The fun part is the main couple is already dating, but instead of going public, they're playing this hilarious game of let's hide our relationship from everyone at the office. So you've got sneaky glances during meetings, awkward flirting in the break room, and blushing over the smallest things, all while trying not to get caught by their coworkers. It's adorable and painfully relatable at the same time. The romance here is done right. It's lighthearted, full of teasing moments, and captures that realistic we're dating but pretending we're not perfect. This anime isn't shying away from anything. It's confident, fun, and not afraid to show the playful side of adult relationships, which makes it even more entertaining to watch. Plus, it's not just about one couple. You actually get another pair forming through the 12 episodes, and watching that happen is just as fun. It's wholesome, funny, and just the right mix of awkward and sweet. So yeah, if you're in the mood for a feel-good office romance anime that'll make you smile like an idiot, I Have a Crush at Work is definitely worth checking out. On number 4. Wistoria Wand and Sword Story follows Will Surfort, a hardworking kid trying to rise through a magic academy, except tiny issue, he can't actually use magic. So what does he do? He pulls out a sword and starts slicing through magical creatures, like he didn't get the memo that this was supposed to be a mage school. The best part of this anime is that the animation is absolutely crazy good. Action sequences are beautifully choreographed and feel cinematic in every sense. Every swing, explosion, and spell just flows, making every fight a visual treat. Seriously, some of these scenes look like they belong in a movie. And yeah, it definitely takes straight up inspiration from Black Clover with its underdog fantasy setup. No magic, lots of heart, endless determination. But honestly, that's not a bad thing because it works. The story is fun, the pacing feels tight, and Will's drive to prove himself makes it super easy to root for him. Also worth mentioning is the art style. It's so good. There's this clean, refreshing aesthetic that perfectly complements the world and its characters. It feels familiar but still unique enough to stand out from any other anime. Overall, Wistoria is totally worth watching. It's only 12 episodes, so you can easily binge it over a weekend. And between the gorgeous visuals, solid action, and that underdog spirit, it's a fantasy adventure that's as satisfying as it is beautiful. On number 3. The summer Hikaru died sounds like your typical small town story, until you realize the title isn't clickbait. Hikaru actually died. The story follows Yoshiki, who notices that his best friend Hikaru isn't quite the same anymore. Sure, he looks like Hikaru, talks like Hikaru, but something's off. And that unsettling feeling of this isn't the person I knew just keeps getting worse. You know what's the best part about this anime? It's finally a good horror anime. Like, thank the anime gods. We've been waiting for one that doesn't rely on cheap animation or jump scares that doesn't really work in anime. Instead, it messes with your head. The horror here lives in that quiet uneasiness, that creeping sense that you're not alone even when you are. It's subtle, it's eerie, and it plays with your mind in the best way possible. The art style is another win. It's hauntingly beautiful, detailed, and perfectly fits the mood of the story. It doesn't try to be flashy, it just builds that slow burn dread that sticks with you long after the episode ends. And honestly, after that disastrous adaptation of Uzumaki, it feels so good to finally get a horror anime that is not a complete mess, animation-wise. It's psychological, it's atmospheric, and it makes you feel uncomfortable in the most satisfying way. If you've been starving for a horror anime that actually hits, The Summer Hikaru Died is the one. It's creepy, emotional, and weirdly beautiful all at once. On number 2. Clevatess is one of those dark fantasy anime that hits you with a story so wild yet so deep that you can't help but think, yeah, this one's built different. It's got massive world building, layered storytelling, and characters that actually feel like they belong in this gritty, brutal universe. The writing has real depth. It's not just another hero fights monster, so the story, it's about an ancient being, Clevatess, who lived for so long, he got bored with his godlike power and just wanted to experience normal life. And honestly, that's such a cool concept. The best part, these big-ass monsters are way too strong, completely impossible to defeat, yet somehow still weirdly relatable when they start craving the simple stuff, like learning the meaning of others' lives, or just not destroying everything in sight. It's that mix of the absurd and the profound that makes Clevatess stand out. Visually, it's gritty, raw, and totally all out with its execution. The dark tone doesn't feel forced, it's stylish, violent, and beautifully balanced with emotional storytelling. You get action, intensity, and a surprising amount of heart packed into a world where death and despair are just part of the daily routine. In short, Clevatess is one of those rare dark fantasy anime that delivers. It's got depth, great characters, and a story that keeps you hooked from start to finish. Brutal, emotional, and unforgettable. On number 1. Delicious in Dungeon is what happens when someone says, hey, what if we mixed Dungeons & Dragons with MasterChef? The story follows Laios and his party as they dive deep into a dungeon to save a fallen teammate. But instead of wasting time going back to town for food, they decide, why not just eat the monsters? And somehow, it works. This anime is genuinely one of the best fantasy shows out there right now. The world building is rich, detailed, and weirdly logical. Every creature, trap, and recipe makes sense in the world it's set in. Watching these characters survive by turning terrifying beasts into tasty meals is oddly satisfying. There's just something about seeing people cook food in anime. It hits differently. Combine that with weird dungeons, monster cuisine, and clever problem solving, and you've got one of the most refreshing fantasy anime ever made. The action scenes are great too, especially when the big monsters show up. The way those fights are animated, chef's kiss. The art direction is gorgeous, and the animation brings out both the chaos and the charm of the dungeon life perfectly. Delicious in Dungeon is a must-watch and easily one of the most bingeable fantasy anime out there right now. It's got everything: fantasy, great action, lovable characters, a fun story, and yes, mouth-watering food. It's cozy, it's funny, and it'll make you hungry and emotionally attached to a chef at the same time. And there you have it. If you found something new to watch, make sure to smash that subscribe button for more. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.